It's good to have you. Welcome back to Good Morning Anambra show this Monday morning, a very cold one at that. And we urge you to come closer for what we have now is of great interest for you and for me. And of course, not too young to run, you have heard about it, a slogan for the Nigerian youths to be given the chance, to actively participate in politics of our nation. It happened in other climes of this world, and today it is gradually happening in Nigeria with the emergence of some youths in some parts of the country occupying seats in state assemblies of their various states and even speakership in some states. And so we welcome you to this topic that says emerging opportunities for youths in politics. We're glad to have you, and in the studio this morning we are being joined by Mr. Comrade Nonso Orakwe, who is a coordinator, Not Too Young to Run, Anambra State Chapter. Welcome, Nonso.
Thank you, David.
All right, also in the studio this morning is an Executive Director, Youth Advocate for Peace, Justice and Empowerment Network, Mr. Timothy Mwachukwu. You're welcome, Timothy.
Thank you very much. Stay tuned, and of course, we'll have a beautiful package for Anambrians.
All right, you're welcome. Now, a 32-year-old Ogundoyin is now the Speaker of Oyo State House of Assembly, and as a youth in his prime. Nonso, how do you see the emergence, not just him, so many others, in the politics today?
Well, it's actually a job worked for a long time, since 2016, where young people gathered in some sections in the country, discussing how young people can be part of the system in politics, emerging leaders, especially when it has to do with young people. And at some point, Nigerian youths became bored. What is it that every day we are leaders of tomorrow, we are leaders of today, we are leaders of tomorrow, and all of that? My father said it. I used to say it here. My father said it when he was young. And when he was old, he said they are leaders of tomorrow. But till he died in 2016, I've not seen him participated in any political, leadership and all of that, apart from family leadership. So, now some persons had to sit down. That was engineered by Samson Itodo of Yaga in Abuja, where I was part of the coordinators that made things happen in 2016. And from there, we started pushing it up. And that is where we have got to, where it became.
And there's this complaint about the high cost of the forms. And I was like, has anything really changed that these youths could come out as...
no, apart from the high cost of the form, the beautiful thing is that we are now getting involved. We are in the system.
Has anything changed from the cost, that made these people to come up? That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, some political parties actually reduce their form.
And some give them
out
free of charge.
You understand? And give free of charge. So what I'm trying to say is this drives, this work so far brought about the changes we are seeing today in our National Assembly and also State Assembly.
Let me come to you, Mr. Timothy. Looking at the results we have now, like you mentioned, I think 3 states have young people less than 40, less than 36 coming out as speakers of their assemblies, and several who were elected. In Zamfara State, the deputy governor is less than 40 also. Do you think is a lot of achievement in just 1 year since the bill was signed into law?
Of course, there's a lot of achievements. Of course, we must give credence to the president for signing the Not Too Young to Run, removing the inhibition that have stopped young people from aspiring to occupy political positions. And of course, I remember that after the Not Too Young to Run bill was passed into law, there was this issue about not ready to run. And Yaga, of course, championed the ready to run slogan, and then we're trying to mobilize young people across the nation that we're not just young to run, but we are ready to run. And I'm very happy that with the recent development, of course, it is a good news, a welcome development that because of the perseverance of the various youth organizations and the passage of the bill into act, of course, it created an enabling environment for young persons to aspire to political positions. And here we are today, having even an undergraduate being a speaker of a State House of Assembly as far as jobs. So it's a welcome development. It's a milestone. It's something that is worth commending.
All right. Now, when these are some of the youths, we still have so many other youths around. Like you said that some were given forms, do you really think that most or majority of the youths are ready, to grab this opportunity that are emerging in our political world?
If you say majority, the answer may be no. But there are youths who have prepared themselves for leadership position. So you can't say majority, but some of the youths have. Some youths have prepared themselves for leadership position. You've seen, for example, you come to a university setting, you've seen where somebody has been a leader in various capacities, maybe as SUG president or as speaker of the student parliament or in various faculties. There are young persons who have shown capacity that they are ready to lead at the secular world. And definitely some youths are showing capacity, of course, but not all the youths. And what we need to get most of the youth involved is the elderly ones, once they begin to mentor the younger ones, begin to carry them along, and not necessarily using the youth as political, using the youth for political thuggery, but mentoring them, giving them assignment. Of course, I'm very much happy that, of course, there are youths who are personal assistant to some of these big persons in political position. There are youths who are special assistants, even for example, here in Anambra State. So once the enabling environment are created, some youths who have over time, over years, have shown capacity in one thing or the other they are doing, given such opportunities, such persons, I will assure you that they will be able to perform creditably well. Where we have problem are when you give positions, when you give opportunity to people who do not envisage, who never dreamt that they will be in such political position. Of course, when you give them such an opportunity, they will mess it up. But once you see a young person who has prepared himself, who have organized programs, who have done so many things, impacted the societies, impacted the communities, you will know that this person is actually preparing himself for a higher opportunity.
I think it's another big work to be done. How do you know? How do you actually know
because
that somebody doesn't really
yeah.
dream of seeing himself in such position? That's another big question.
Because in line with this, there are arguments in some places that people that benefited from this not too young to run this time are people who their parents have already been in the system.
I was coming to that.
They're benefiting from the system, not as though it is the result of the not too young to run bill, but the result of a cartel system that in our politics.
Okay, I beg to disagree with that. One of the interesting areas or constituency where the election took place in the last House of Assembly election in Anambra State is Nnewi North. In Nnewi North, we had a son of a woman who fries akara. Yes, going against the son of a multi-millionaire. And of course, at the end of the day, Honorable Nonso Okafor today was sworn in as the Speaker of the Anambra, as a member of House of Assembly. No, of course, I wanted to answer your question. The truth of the matter is that it's not all. Of course, there are persons, it is all about capacity. When you see young persons here in Nigeria, I believe there are politicians, there are persons who are interested in sponsoring young persons who have shown leadership qualities, just as the case of Honorable Nonso Okafor, the son of a woman who fries akara, becoming a member of House of Assembly against the son of a multi-millionaire who have the powers and the cartels behind.
Let's welcome the first person to the House.
Hello. Hello?
All right.
Okay. Go on. I think you were still...
So, please, we should remove our minds from our mind that it is son of politician. No. For example, you're sincerely,
It's not really removing our mind.
Yeah.
Because, so you have to come in at this point. It's not really removing our mind because it's what is happening. You just cited one example of somebody non so that the mother flies akara.
Okay, if I may comment, what we did, there are tendencies of political juggernauts to hijack the process. But it has now come to the level of a common man, an electorate, to identify who has this capacity to lead. And that is why the comrade is citing Nonso. Good. Now, it's not only Nonso. We have some people like that. In Obaru, we have also Nonso Igwe. In Obaru too. That over years, he has been consistent in the system. Knowing fully well that the guy doesn't have money. So I think the citizens now, the electorates, are gradually understanding the process, not about your money. In Idemili North and South, we have also young person in the person of somebody, the son of Anio Konkwo, that contested. He is also a member of Not Young to Run in Anambra State here. Even at the national, we submitted their name for a convergence last year. So what I'm trying to say is this: it's not all that per se. If these political gurus have really accepted that as a kind of assignment to accomplish, I tell you, in no distant time, that will be abolished.
Okay. We have someone that wants to join us. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, John Paul on the line this morning. Calling from Oka.
All right, John
You're
Paul.
welcome.
Yes, I really appreciate the topic, the subject of this morning.
Thank
And
you.
the guests are just taking justice to what is supposed to be. You see, the young man mentioned also Kaba happened to be my president one time. That is smart, we call him smart.
Yeah.
It's one of numerous examples that youths who are prepared are getting it right. And I really appreciate the president for having signed that law, that the law. It's giving us a lot of opportunities, not only getting it right, but we are getting more than right as expected. So the emerging opportunities, I urge the youth to come out in mass and begin to be supportive. Irrespective of where you come from, you have to be supportive to actualize this project that Nigeria needs the minds of the youth to move this nation forward. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much,
You see,
Paul.
why I'm talking about this capacity is very, very paramount. When this bill was passed, so many people were like, okay, I am young, I'll contest. That is not the concept. That's not the original.
Show capacity.
Yes.
What have you done?
What in the
You are
past?
unprecedented.
Do you understand?
What have you done? Where you're coming from?
So-
And then looking at it, that will be able to tell us what you will be able to do when given the opportunity. So it's not just about
Okay. That brings us to another question now. Before we came on this program, there's something we are looking at, during the press review about some anomalies in the system, and I'm like, do we have a system, or can we have a system where these youths are taken through some rudiments, of climbing this ladder? Yes,
Okay.
that will not just being a politician or rising to that top, but getting there to make an impact, to make a change, to what is already on ground that needs to be changed.
When this Not Young to Run program started, we run programs, training programs for young people, and it's still on. But the point is this: some of the young people are not available for the training. It's only people who have, just like what he said earlier, who have the consciousness of being trained to be better. Not only being mentored. There is aspect of mentorship, and there is also aspect of, being trained to know what leadership is all about. Let me just say this: when the issue of castigate.
Can this person join us? Hello.
Okay, so it's not good enough to castigate these leaders, but it will be good enough to engage the leaders and also the young leaders in training. The training we are talking about is not coming to the seminar, sit down for 2 hours.
An ongoing mentorship. I want to add something so that you can tackle them at the same time. Could a system that will feel the older people have failed mentor a new set of leaders that will correct it?
Come again.
can a system that we believe
Or
we think that the older people who control it at this point have failed actually mentor a new set of leaders that can correct it?
Whether we like it or not, in that old kind of system, there are still good, good activities that runs in that. But apart from that, there are automatically new policy about youth engagement in good governance. It's only people who could sit down and tap into that policies that will bring about a very large change about the mindset, about the psyche of every young person to know that there are another way we can engage leadership in our country. So what I'm trying to say is this: those system is corrupt already, and in that corruption, there are also a sanitized system which these elders know very well that this is the right thing to do. And these SSAs and SAs and EAs and all that, the PAs that follows these people, they are young people that made them. Remember, these old people are not coming out to give what they have. They don't give what they have.
They use the young people.
They use the young people to actualize their whatever they want. So what I'm trying to say is this: young people, they are technologically, you cannot challenge them.
Certainly.
You understand? So let me just sum it up. So what I'm trying to say is this: they have a different system, policy that they have engaged that will make this country work. Only people who have the sense to accommodate the masses at heart. Not all youths who are leaders now. Remember, there is what happened with the governor of Kogi, state governor. Yeah. When we are proud of that he's young, he's this, he's that, we have achieved that. But at some point, we became ashamed of what we have produced. And such people, don't be surprised, we'll have them. But I tell you, the people who are enlightened, the people who want to really engage the people are still there, even in the midst of the corrupted minds.
All right. And now, talking about some disappointment that have been made, with not too young children, or with thinking that we've gotten our own, to occupy the seat. Do you really think we can get them? And how best do you think, we can get these youths?
Of course, just as I rightly said, the problem we have is appointing or giving opportunity to persons who have not envisioned that they will be in the place of leadership.
Sorry, before we continue, let's take this person. Hello? Hello? All right, go on.
So as I said, the case of accidental leadership, that is the problem we have. Let me make reference to the governor of Kogi State.
Accidental leadership?
Yes.
People that never knew.
The emergence of accidental leaders. When you talk about, he made a reference to the governor of Kogi State. Before he became governor, who was he? What are his antecedents? What leadership position has he occupied? What impact has he been able to make among the young people and in his community, in the society? And not just picking not just picking someone and imposing him in the state. So the truth of the matter is this.
But remember, Yahya contested in that election, so he was prepared. He also came second in that election.
No. Let me come in. What do we call
preparation?
Preparedness or preparation. When someone is prepared, is not when you have the money, the fund to run or being sponsored. When you are prepared, is that you are prepared mentally, morally, and in all ramifications you are prepared when it comes to leadership. Now, the fund and sponsorship comes later. So I think Yahya Bello was prepared, financially, and whoever that is backing him up. But when it comes to real preparation, it is people with capacity.
And don't you think this is what we need generally? Coming from somewhere, growing within some, rising up to, from the same system, just like what you said, you have to prepare all round. Like some people that started in school, SUG and stuff like that, they started being groomed and up to the level they go to councillorship, local government chairmanship and whatnot. Don't you think it's what we need generally in the system?
Of course, that is exactly what is obtainable. That is what is obtainable. Of course, everybody may not be an HCG president in the school, everybody, but you don't even actually, my philosophy, my idea is that you don't even have to occupy a particular position for you to be able to make impact.
I want you to elaborate this more. You said you used the example of Kogi State Governor. I know that at his age, before he became governor, he wasn't lying down at home. He must have been doing something that made someone to identify him, even if he had a godfather. So what kind of preparation? What will actually, for you, maybe for him, he's prepared to govern the state. What is that thing that kernel, be specific, please,
Well,
in that preparation process?
So the fact speaks for itself. Let me bring it home. Here in Anambra State, we have young persons who are actually making impacts. Some of them are in position in government already. Some are not yet in government. That is exactly what I mean. There is a young man here in the States. He is a young author. Several times we've seen him organize programs, impact-making programs. Now, let me bring it very closer. We have an SSA to the governor on youth and digital digital entrepreneurship in the person of Honorable Aniago. He is not the only SSA to the governor on youth, but he is the only one who is visible and who is making impact. If tomorrow we give him an opportunity to become a commissioner, I can tell you that he's going to surpass even those who are already there. Now, I'm making case for a higher bellow. Contesting election is, I still maintain my position that he emerged accidentally. What has he done? Do you have any information of what he has done before then? Of course, if there are antecedents of what he has done, then remember there is an Igbo adage that said, you understand? So anyone who is going to make a great leader, go and check the person's past and see what this person has been able to do. If this person has not been able to do anything in the past, then what is the guarantee that when this person has a bigger platform that he will be able to affect the life of the people positively? So my counsel to you generally is this. Don't just wait to be in an official position before you begin to make impacts. Create a platform. If you can't create a platform, join. There are so many civil society organizations. There are so many non-governmental organizations that are tailored to meeting the youth of the needs of the youth. Join all those groups and begin to make impact. And from there, persons will be able to see, this young person is trying, this young person is trying, and then why don't we give him a better opportunity? And tomorrow, when the person gets a higher opportunity, the person will be able to make more impacts to the society. Right. I'm not just picking somebody from somewhere. How do you even know that he have done anything?
All right. So now, there's something we said earlier about not being able to match the youth when it comes to ICT. Now, I would like us to really tailor down some of the resultant effects, of the youth taking positions politically in our country.
Repeat that question.
You understand? You talked earlier about,
technology.
Why not? We can't match the youth when it comes to technology. Okay. Now, I want us to really, look at resultant effects of the youth, taking positions in our political scene in this country.
Okay, you see, when we are talking about not too young to run, when that bill came up, the idea wasn't that young people will take the whole seats. That wasn't the idea. The idea was young people, at least, should be given some percentage of representation in every sector. Now, for the leadership to thrive very well, the mix between the young person and old person in the system, the young person will play a role, so many roles of Ndiop Abaloso. My meaning by Ndiop Abaloso, a young person, then the older person will use his experience to mentor the young person. Do you get it? So when we are talking about the resultants, what the best it can project for Nigerians is the speed, the velocity of development in the country will be very, very high.
Okay, let me add to this.
Sorry, okay. will be very, very high. So those dull moments. Sorry to take you to mention this. There is one file we have here in one of the ministries here. There's an organization that opened a kind of an organization, and a file is being processed. to be honest with you, that file stood there for like 2 months, and nothing was holding that file. When I went there to know what is happening, what is delaying this file, I noticed it is a archaic way of doing things that was holding it. And I had to look at the people that are in charge, the archaic minds. And before you know it, those people were removed and young people came in. It didn't take up to 2 days. We had the result. So what I'm trying to say is it will project a speed development.
All right, there's something you wanted to say.
Yes, the resultant effect of having young persons, young prepared persons who are already ready to occupy those various positions are massive. For example, using the ICT tool, how many ministries have functional websites? How many ministries have platform to engage the people? When you bring a young person who understands what governance is all about and who is ICT driven, I can tell you that, just as Riley said, most of the files that are lying there in the ministry will be accelerated. It will receive accelerated response. For example, of course, most of them will be online. It will be accessible. Take, for example, in Anambra State, for instance. Using the Anambra State House of Assembly, for instance, if you want to trace some of the laws passed in Anambra State, you can't find them. But now I am happy that we have a young person as a speaker. And I hope that from this moment that he is going to work to ensure that the bills, the laws being passed by the House of Assembly will be online. These are some of the things that young person can do. If you put an old person there, just as they have been there, we are not going to make progress. Make a young person's commissioner. You discover that virtually everything you need to make the ministry, to make the agency, to make the department functional, to make it work, to make it move, it will be available.
All right. We can go on, and we believe that Nigeria will be better. We will be optimistic for that. Would like to thank you so much for watching, and we also appreciate you in a special way, Mr. Timothy Nwachukwu, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. We also thank you so much, Comrade Nonso Orakwe, for coming. Thanks for your time.
Let's keeping on.
Mm-hmm. And my name is Nonye Mwokoye. Thanking you so much for being part of this. Good morning.